All right, so I am back at her. Yesterday, I put out a podcast saying how just challenging things are, and it is difficult, and I feel, exhausted a lot of days. But then I get up and I get going, and I do one more day. And whenever I have those particular moments, um, it's usually when I'm doing it's usually actually, to be honest, it's when I'm doing some sort of social comparison in my mind. It's usually when something is bothering me, like something sort of set me off. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Um, and compounded, and that many times that's not going to bother me if I sort of see something that's not fair. Um, but it's when I am hungry, tired, all those sort of basic things, right? I haven't taken a break in a while. Those fundamental, and it's not like a break as in I didn't get out, I haven't gone on a vacation. It's just that I sort of was stuck inside. There's sort of basic things that we know. You're hungry. You need to go get a little bit of exercise, get the blood flowing. You're sort of socially isolated for some time, or which is all the sort of basic things that you go through as an academic, which is totally the the story that you go through. Um, but if that is the case, right, like there's sort of two things that are going on, and I see those particular things, then I do get tired. I do get grumpy. But here's the thing is that I'm back again. And I had a sleep. I'm back at her and I'm still building. And I want you to sort of think about that with things that are going on in your life, right? Like there are many moments where you just don't feel like doing things. And the key is yes, at that moment you sort of put in that particular effort. But the other thing is just to figure out a way, find that combination of getting back up and going through it all over again, and making sure that you are maintaining that healthy pace, whatever that particular pace is for you. I think it's really fascinating, um, that the key thing is that often is the case, right? The sort of unfairness I think about. It's often when people are not in your spot. They sort of don't um, they don't understand, and they sort of incorrectly assign inferences in a certain way, and then you're like, oh, that's bizarre, that's unfair, right? And the thing is, it's true. It's because they don't understand. Um, and when you are hungry, tired, all of those sort of basic things, that feels much more, right? You sort of feel that stuff a lot more, and you get more anxious and tired, and all of those sort of basic things. And I'm going to tell you this right off the get go is that you can't really stop those moments from happening in your life. Um, I've been doing this long enough, and you've been listening to me long enough to know that you can't stop that stuff, right? And the reason is that there's a bit of a fundamental problem that actually exists, right? You need to accomplish things and do things that, and a lot of people don't, but if you're doing something, so my goal is I'm not only a researcher, but I'm building this platform, the reciprocity platform, and um, I need to know I need to get those particular things done. And so there is this challenge that you face, that you are getting things done, and there's only so much that you can possibly do in a given day. And on the other side is that other people making inferences about you and doing things, that may or may not affect your life. um, and they don't have that information. They sort of haven't done things, and um, they're not in that position to make a good inference. And then you're like, oh well, that's not a great inference, but that is okay. Here's the thing that I want to sort of come back to so that you can understand and you can think about this. You cannot change that from happening. That is a bit of a fundamental problem that's going to exist. And no matter what you're doing, you're going to look around. And when you're hungry, tired, the sort of basic things, you're going to look around, you're going to see a lot of unfairness. And the truth is, it is unfair, right? Like there are a lot of problems that exist like that you can't fix. um, that there is this information, what's called the information asymmetry, right? Like people just don't have your inside information, um, and all of those sort of basic things. And that is true for everybody. We don't understand each other very well, right? Like we have to come back to that. We judge other people, and yet we don't understand them, not at all. So if this is the scenario, you can't fix that. The only thing that you can fix, you can't fix that situation. The only thing that you can do is get back up and you do it again. And you get back up and you try one more day. Just like I was saying last night, is that despite the fact that it doesn't feel good at any given moment, you get back up and you try and you try and you try, and you may never ever get to the moment where you sort of have these sort of aspirations in your mind, right? Like for me, um, I'm gonna be honest, right? Like I do want one day. I kind of have this goal, but I'm not sure if this is probably not feasible. Like, I'll be like a Harvard business professor, and I get all this adoration and all that kind of stuff in my mind. That's sort of what I think about, or probably more realistically, something like at a MIT or something like that. But that is a that is a dream that doesn't reflect a lot of realities, and the challenges that you face and the challenges that those people face, um, and all of those kind of things, right? Like that that happens, and the sort of goals that you might get to, um, are not reflective of reality. But you still get back up and you try every day. You keep trying, you keep putting in the work. You are honest about trying, and you just keep executing no matter what other people, the inferences they're making, the sort of judgments that they're making, all the sort of very simplistic things which we know are fundamentally, often very fundamentally wrong, but it's the best to their ability. um, all of those things, but you just keep going. You ignore that stuff and you keep going. You put in your blinders and you do the best that you can do at any given day. And I think that is the most important thing. How you got to keep going. And that's it. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.